Hank Azaria right here in our studio, right here and now. And you are a perfect person coming off of that radio show open, Hank, to hit you on this. Chris Brockman, who is not here today, that's his empty chair. You see his Patriots gear.
Yeah.
And that's, avert your eyes, a Jet fan. But at any rate, he is not here. He is at a fantasy draft. You and I are in a fantasy league together now, going on 5, 6, 7 years, whatever it is.
Yeah.
His league, 14 teams.
Whoa.
14 teams.
Yeah.
The time limit to make a pick, there is no time limit.
Unlimited time limit.
Yeah.
You can sit there for an hour and make your pick.
The record was, I believe, 3 years ago, an 8th round selection. Took 28 minutes for somebody to choose Brian Hartline.
That's unbearable. Only, I'm going to venture to say this.
Yes, sir.
Only a Patriot fan would do that. That's ridiculous. I also want to apologize that I forgot to wear pants.
Yes, for the radio audience, you came in full. You got the khaki shorts going on.
I forgot that. I thought I was going to be like here up. I forgot that on your new fancy show.
Yeah.
You see legs, so
are those your
enjoy?
Are those your summer legs, or are those your winter legs that you have?
No,
on
I
today?
brought out the summer legs.
Yeah,
I got a guy in Beverly Hills. Yeah.
Hank Azaria here on the program. You must be now. Are you ecstatic about your Mets, or do you have do you have that Met DNA looking for the trap door here? For
The answer is both, solidly both. As each day goes on, I get a little more, like 1.4% more ecstatic and slightly less waiting for the other shoe to drop. But of course, you know, first, I mean, any baseball team is so long that there's going to be another lull. It has to happen to any team. And so it's hard to tell how real these Mets are totally. But that said, it is just even being relevant on, what is today, August 28th?
August 20th.
Is unbelievable for a Mets fan at this point. And I have to say, objectively, they seem to have the components that are a decent team. They do.
You can't just come out and say they have components of decency. Which, by the way, is that your fantasy team?
Well, look, I think that's true of any baseball team. Like, who knows how they're really going to fare?
Right.
But there's a potential high ceiling for this team. Let's say that.
Playoffs. You think they make
playoffs?
it? Do they make it? Do they make the playoffs this year?
It seems right now like they will.
Just don't come out. You should own this.
No.
He is a bruised and battered Met fan.
Own it, Hank. Look, they are 6.5 up on the Washington Nationals right now.
Dude, this is a team. Dude, I had to go to Dude.
You just duded me. Yes.
That in 2007 was 7 games up with 17 to go. And we all know how that turned out against the Phillies. My wife, who's a Phillies fan, had to live through that month in my house.
Yes.
Where she'd go, "Oh, honey, I'm so sorry," and then walk away going, "Ha ha." Literally, it's still. I'm still traumatized by it. I can't relax.
So until you are 7 up with 16 to play, you're not gonna breathe easy.
Even then, until the magic number's 0.
Well, because here I'm with Hank Azaria here on the Rich Eisen Show, Simpsons, and obviously Ray Donovan. So much more to talk about with you on that front in a minute, but. Here they are. They've got Harvey. They've got Syndergaard. They've got Matz maybe coming back.
Yeah.
They have Jacob. They have DeGrom. Who might be the best road pitcher in Major League Baseball.
Yes, and Syndergaard might be the worst, but that's all right.
But so you stick him at home. I mean, they're not going to have too many 3-4 game losing streaks.
Probably not.
With these pitchers.
Probably not.
I'm trying to get you to say the Mets are going to make the playoffs. I'm really trying to do that.
You know, I think the latest numbers are they're 86%. Likely to do it, so I'm going to stick with that. I am 86% sure that they will.
So, can I get you to break down the Jets in a Simpsons voice? Can I get you to do that?
The Jets in a Simpsons voice?
The Jets, not the Mets. Can you do the Jets?
I think you got to go with Mo.
Okay.
Talking about the Jets, since I feel Mo's from Queens. So let's stick with Mo there. Look, first of all, somebody said on New York Sports Talk Radio that, Rex might have left, the sort of ringleader might have left, but the circus is still in town, okay? That's the Jets. Poor Todd Bowles. Poor guy's like, I don't know, a guy hit another guy and busted his jaw, and we don't like that quarterback anyway, but he was the best we had. That's the Jets.
That's the Geno Smith.
Did Chief Wiggum ever think of investigating the punch?
Chief Wiggum investigating the punch? Can you investigate punches? Was there a crime? I guess there was technically a crime committed.
Technically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a crime committed, I think.
Well, he didn't press charges. And you know my motto, if you don't press charges, I'm gonna have a donut.
Oh my gosh.
That is my
Go
motto.
figure that. Go figure that the Jets would have a friendly fire situation. And you knew, I said it from this chair, Hank, when that happened, Rex was going to pick up the puncher. And
Did you know that? Did you call that?
I said it will be 24 hours till the Patriots get him because they want to see what the Jets might be up to in a way, or Rex would go get him.
How about how many times he's punched people in the face?
There's that too.
Did you hear the latest one? The latest person that came out that he punched in the face?
Yeah, apparently he got catfished, right?
Yeah. Well, that's a very polite way of putting it. I mean, a person that allegedly, I'm sorry, allegedly, that he thought was a woman turned out to be a man?
Yeah, there was apparently a crying game situation going on.
Yeah, so he punched him in the face. As you do.
To a starting quarterback.
Yeah.
Right, which is what... So,
But I'd started out, everyone just blamed Gino for that. It was amazing.
it took 2 minutes for that to happen.
But it was like, I
Hank,
also heard another
Reva
guy,
said-
I think it was Robin Lundberg in New York, said, like, has anyone who, in the history of being punched in the face, ever been more blamed for being punched in the face than Gino was?
Well, he didn't move his head, or he, or
Well, yeah.
he stuck his finger in somebody else's face. But it took. Rivas said he blamed both people. Rivas was the one who said that.
I think it's safe to say that. People have been saying, like, well, would Manning or Brady ever be in that situation? Forget Manning or Brady. Would Andy Dalton ever be in a situation where he was going to get punched in the face in the locker room over $600?
There are some Bengals fans that would probably hire Enimpali to go into the locker room
Well, yeah.
and take him out.
It's all rearranging deck chairs on the old Jets Titanic. You know what annoys it annoys me so much.
What annoys you, Hank Azaria?
That the Colts had Peyton Manning for years,
Yes.
and one bad year, and then right into the Andrew Luck era.
It just,
okay,
of all the years.
Brett Favre in Green Bay, and then directly into the Aaron Rodgers era.
Yes.
It's so not fair. And with the Jets.
So the equivalent would not be the Sanchez into the Geno Smith era, is what you're saying.
That's our equivalent.
That's there. There's the the Richard Todd into the Ken O'Brien era.
Yeah, where was Browning Nagel? Where did he figure
He was in there somewhere. He was in there somewhere because the Falcons took Brett Favre the pick before, Hank.
Is that right?
That is a true story.
How did Brett Favre end up a Packer then?
Because Ron Wolf, who used to be with the Jets when they were trying to get him, went to Green Bay and remembered him. True story.
But how did he go from Atlanta to...
They traded for him.
Oh, they did.
They traded a first-round choice for him, as a matter of fact.
Good move.
It worked out for him. And then the Jets got Brett Favre. How'd that work out?
Yeah, that was great. And then that's the other thing, which seemed to be true of the Mets for a while, like with Jason Bay and Curtis Granderson last year. You put Mets on the front of people's uniforms, and their ability goes down by like 34%.
If I told you, if I had gotten you on the phone after the Carlos Gomez trade, non-trade, Wilmer Flores crying on the field, that debacle followed up the next day by them blowing a lead against San Diego.
And that crazy rain delay
And
game?
then after blowing a 3-run lead in the ninth, had to sit through a 2.5-hour rain delay.
They were up by 7 runs in that game.
And they had to sit through that darn near 3-hour rain delay. If I told you that was going to be the beginning of a run that would put them 6.5 up, what would you...
It seemed like we were absolutely heading towards what almost every Mets season heads towards, which is some new way they seem to have figured out to be a disaster. And it was so Mets-like, all of that. Just like, what is all that? How do you mishandle a trade that then doesn't happen into blowing a lead? And by the way, which is masking the bigger problems at that point, which is no one can hit, okay? And all this wonderful starting pitching is being wasted. And then for a team to turn around, I can't remember, can you remember? Forget about a baseball team. Any team in any sport turning around so dramatically, so quickly. I can't recall it.
Well, the Blue Jays are doing it too right now, too,
Yeah, but
in a
they
way.
were hitting all year. I mean, you know what I mean? They had a very good offense all year.
They did.
They weren't.
It has been a remarkable run. They have got the best record, I believe, since or at least the biggest upside since the trade deadline.
They've scored the most runs, for sure.
What's going on with them? That's why you should say it. Just come out here and say it. the Mets are going to be a playoff team. Just do it. Own it, Hank.
It's
Do the
86.4% likely.
Astros turnaround's been pretty incredible, too.
Astros turnaround, but he's just talking about right in the middle of the season. Yeah.
I'm talking about
In the
going
middle of a
from
year.
1 week, playing 110 games and being this kind of mediocre team that phenomenal pitching keeps barely afloat into a team that seems dominant.
Hank Azaria is right here in studio. You're out here to do a table read for The Simpsons? Is that what
That's
you're doing?
what I was
Pretty
doing.
much. So you did that? You've done that?
It's done
All right.
already.
What's that like? Walk people through what is this like, where you're sitting around the table and all the voices from now you're in your 90th season of The Simpsons.
It is.
What is the
We did
table read
begin
for The Simpsons like?
In 1925. You sit around a big conference table, and
Yeah.
now, because we've been on for so long, the edge of the room is lined with onlookers and well-wishers, and it's just what every television show does. You have to read it out loud for the writers,
Right.
so they can hear where the laughs are and they need to rewrite, and that's all it is, and it's fun.
I know. I mean, so everybody's in the room. And
Everybody's there, or if it can't be there, is on the phone.
Is that normally the way that you?
I'm usually, because I live in New York, I'm usually on the phone, but I come out every once in a while, so,
Right.
they still are nice to me.
So is this a full attendance today? Was everybody there?
It was yesterday, in fact.
Yesterday?
And no, Julie Kavner plays Marge was on the phone.
Okay.
And Harry Shearer was on the phone.
He was on the phone,
But
too.
we're happy to have Harry any way we can get him.
That's right.
When your agent called you 27 years ago and is like, hey, there's this part you're reading for a voice in it, obviously you had no idea what it would become, but like, could you imagine like the popularity and
I'd be a
27 years?
lunatic to, first of all, Fox, this was like the second year of Fox.
Fox, yeah.
That was I have to address the kids of today. There used to be only 3 networks, kids, and a 4th one was a very bizarre concept. And so you didn't even think the network would last, let alone a cartoon show on the network. I mean, it was just all, lunacy.
So were you were there from Jump Street? Were you one of the originals?
In 21 Jump Street?
That one too. Yeah. Were you on 21 Jump Street? Were you right there from the? Were you one of
I
the originals?
auditioned for 21 Jump Street.
Did you now?
I did.
For which character?
The working title was Jump Street Chapel. That was what they were going to call it.
For which character?
I don't remember. I don't know.
What lines? What lines does one read from?
All I know is I went in on Jump Street Chapel. Mm-hmm. And I'm pretty sure I didn't get it. I'm still waiting to hear, but I'm pretty sure I didn't get it.
Well, Hank, I hate to tell you, you didn't. You didn't.
Didn't get it?
No,
All right.
you did not get
All
it.
right.
I'm sorry to say. And Ray Donovan, I know a lot of fans of yours waiting for you to appear in this season of Ray Donovan. When are you? Where
Ed
are you?
Cochran
in
is
this
going to
season?
make it. That's who I play. The troubled FBI guy. He's going to make his way back into the next couple of weeks.
Okay, so
Yeah.
keep an eye peeled
Yes.
for all of that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
At least one eye.
it's funny when you were on the show in New York, when we were there in New York
Yeah.
for after the draft in early May, after we went from Chicago to New York. You were there when the Ted Wells report came out.
Yeah.
And we're still waiting for some form or fashion for this thing to be put to bed.
It's just ridiculous.
Where do you sit on the Deflategate? Are you just as a hater of the Patriots and you're so happy, or you even think this is ridiculous and let's put this thing to bed? Hank? what do you think?
Again, both. I mean, it's equally insane. Brady's stance is the typical, we've seen it now from, it's different. I'm not accusing him of the same things,
Yes.
but how, A-Rod and Lance Armstrong and Ryan Braun and on and on and on, and Clemens. It's this denial, no way that I do anything. And then the cover-up becomes much worse than the original crime, and especially in this case, which is ludicrous, the ball inflation. But the idea that he didn't know, we all know, of course he knew. Come on, it's insulting to him to think that he wouldn't have known.
Mm-hmm.
And then now all this posturing, and then how the NFL has mishandled it, and now nobody will back down. It's exactly what's wrong with the whole system.
Because it's about parsing of air, even. It's about air. Because you mentioned all of these people who are performance-enhancing drugs and things of that nature.
Yeah, which
This
is
about
that's
air.
legitimately
It's about air.
something. This is nothing, but it reveals everybody's, everybody's stubbornness and arrogance. And then, and now that'll be resolved. But I actually feel, but Patriots fans, they insist it's all a witch hunt, which of course it isn't, but it is some.
if this were, you know, let's keep picking on Andy Dalton.
Sure.
If this were Andy Dalton and the Bengals, nobody would care half as much, or even a third as much. But that doesn't make it not happen.
You are spot on that.
Yeah.
Hank. There's no two ways about that.
So
before I let you go, what's the scoop with Brockmeyer? Where's Jimmy Brockmeyer?
Thanks for asking, Rich Eisen. Jim Brockmeyer, we should know by September the 15th whether he's going to be a series on the IFC channel, which is a channel I hear the young people of today enjoy.
The Independent Film
Channel. I don't know what that is. Independent film. What is that? Is that like... isn't all film independent? I guess some are done in communist countries.
Well,
I guess those aren't independent.
Well, you know, I think the person who decides whether a film is dependent or independent would be Brent Musburger, which is a problem.
Oh, now why do they have to bring up the M word? Oh, I hate that punk-ass bee.
He is your nemesis, right, Jim?
Oh,
Brockmeyer?
he's a jagav.
I don't even know what word that was.
Well, I sort of cleaned it up for television.
Well, yeah, I know.
You know what I'm saying?
I do.
Jaggavv.
That's the
Jagav.
Hank, you are a prince. Thank you for coming on this show, sir.
You know, I actually am a prince.
You are.
Of a very
Prince's
small
area?
emirate.
Prince.
Yeah.
And thank you for wearing your summer legs today on this show and showing off the dance.
I really should have worn pants.
Yeah. Well, look, next time.
Yeah, next time,
Next
pants.
time you're in town.
Pants.
You know, it'll be later in the winter.
Let's toast to that.
Let's toast to that. Here we go.
Next time, pants. Proceed.
We are back in a moment. Oh yeah. This is also we send you out with the Birdcage tune, buddy.
Oh, very good.
It's either that or the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Do you want to? Is this weird if we kiss? Can we kiss now? Let's kiss, Rich Eisen.
Throw to break is
He
Agador
never wants
Spartacus.
to kiss. No, not the guests, ever.
We're back with more in a moment.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern. On Audience.